I knew from the moment I looked into your eyes for the first time that I could never love another. Ladies, gentlemen, and monsters of all ages, Title Update 1 is here for Monster Hunter Wilds, and it is, so glorious, with some beautiful monster additions, of course, as well as a whole load of other stuff like the new Grand Hub, and even some side missions to take part in for some extra goodies along the way too. So today we're going to talk about a bunch of things that you may not know about within Title Update 1 for Monster Hunter Wilds, or things that have changed in unexpected or vague ways, in the hopes of helping you get the most out of this title update and everything that's inside of it, as well as understanding any more major shifts. Right at the top then, obviously we have the new monsters, but aside from their initial encounters, which are very straightforward, it's worth noting there is of course tempered Mizutsune, and that you may not expect is that tempered Mizutsune can appear in the ruins of Wyvria, where regular Mizutsune can't, as opposed to only in the Scarlet Forest. As of this update as well, tempered gore magala will be able to spawn in the ruins of Wyvria, which he could not do beforehand. He was only in the iceshard cliffs. And on the note of Wyvria, if you're wondering how to hunt Shia again past the initial story hunt as part of the title update, it essentially works like Jin Dahaad's quest, where sometimes it will exist as a thing that you can embark on from the ruins of Wyvria map screen, and you can see it coming ahead of time on the forecast as well, and when doing this you can create a rarity 8 quest for the monster, so it has the same reward potential pool as a tempered arkveld as far as the reward boxes, and you can save these quests as investigations too to do them with the set rewards repeatedly, with a note here that seems to only spawn when the ruins of Wyvria are in inclemency, so if resting to try and spawn this monster, choose inclemency as your weather choice on purpose. And while we are here, bonus note that resting to change time or weather has been bumped up to cost 500 guild points now, instead of the 300 guild points that it used to cost before. Past this, check in with the support desk cats, or even with the notice board in the Grand Hub once you unlock it now, to talk to them about DLC. They will show you a bunch of paid stuff that has been added to the game that you may or may not be interested in, that's up to you, but there is a full free gesture pack and a free outfit for Alma in here as well, so grab those for sure, or you're just missing out on stuff that you don't have to pay for. As well, we have the Grand Hub Canteen in this area, which essentially lets you manually choose a version of the feasts that you can be offered by the different villages in the game. These require either specific tickets or general all-purpose meal tickets, and it's worth mentioning that from here on, it seems that the daily login reward bonuses will include both meal tickets and tickets for the barrel bowling activity as well. Another note related to hub stuff, the provision stockpile NPC in any base camp area will now also let you transfer items from your box, so essentially this just lets you set up your item pouch and your ammo pouch for quests the way that you would like to, and the same way that you would in an item box. It just gives you another place to do it, and this doesn't really make life crazy more efficient in any way. It's just a nice option to have and to be aware of it existing, of course. Next up then, I want to talk about mantles, as all of these were changed in various ways. Specifically, the Mending Mantle is now an 80-second duration instead of 60, Evasion Mantle is now 105 seconds instead of 90 seconds, Rocksteady Mantle has had its damage reduction property increased. Before this update, it reduced incoming damage by 30%, now it reduces incoming damage by around 60% instead, so pretty much doubled in effectiveness. Here you'll see me getting hit by the training dummy with the exact same settings, once without Rocksteady Mantle and once with the mantle on. The damage reduction is honestly quite crazy now, and I can totally see Rocksteady becoming a much more common choice with the slow big hit weapons, at least, like Greatsword, Hammer, Switch Axe with full release slash, that type of thing, especially now that Corrupted Mantle has actually been nerfed in pretty much every way it could possibly be. The actual duration for Corrupted Mantle is now 90 seconds instead of 2 minutes, which it was before, so a pretty hefty time loss on there. Then the buffs that you get from it have gone down too. Previously it was a 10% affinity increase at base, and then after you did enough damage to a monster, you would enter like a second phase of the Mantle's buff, where it would give you a general 10% damage boost as well as 30% total affinity increase, instead of just 10%. Now, after the update, this has been replaced by 5% affinity as a base when you first put on the mantle, and then the second phase now being a 5% damage increase instead of 10, and a total 10% affinity increase instead of 30%. So way lower on the actual stats that this mantle gives. And then as for the bonus hits that you will get with certain attacks while wearing the mantle, the motion values on these also seem to have gone down, Specifically before this update, I was getting 33% of Hammer's motion values from the Golf Swing combo as the bonus hit from the Mantle, so 33% of the main damage hit would then show up as the bonus hit, whereas now, after the update, I'm seeing around 22% of the main damage hit. So I would say that the bonus hit damage of Corrupted Mantle is now down by approximately 1/3 of what it used to be, so it is quite a hefty nerf to Corrupted Mantle. It'll still definitely see a lot of use, don't get me wrong, it is the pure damage damager, but there is at least a bit more consideration in your Mantle choice now for sure for anyone who isn't straight up going for speedruns. On the note of equipment changes then, a number of talismans have new ranks added to them as well, meaning that you can upgrade these talismans one more time and get another level of the skill that they offer. This doesn't seem to apply to anything that's like crazy meta damage right now, but more so utility and lesser used damage boost. The 4 talismans that I'm aware of specifically getting upgrades here are Convert Element, now being able to reach level 2 on the talisman, Evade Window, now being able to reach level 4 on the talisman, Constitution, being able to reach level 5 on the talisman, and Earplugs, being able to reach level 2 on the talisman, which is quite good, as Earplugs level 2 is what you need for most things in the game. As well, the upgrade cap on armor has been increased, so all of your armor can be upgraded to higher defense numbers than before with armor spheres, even if you had previously reached the maximum that existed before. This should help out a bit with high rank Shia for those finding it a bit tough because it hits really hard, and it will just make everything in the game do less damage to you as a whole really, even if it's only a small amount from the amount of extra upgrades we get here. Outside of this then, the melding pot has had some pretty major changes too. First up, the price of melding decorations has changed. Specifically for Wyverian melding, the top rarity weapon decorations now cost 150 melding points to make instead of 120, so a 25% increase in cost. The top rarity armor decoration now costs 90 melding points instead of 60, so a 50% increase in cost. This is mostly evened out, however, by boosts to the actual melding materials as well. Specifically, the melding tickets have gone up in value exactly equivalently, so a gold ticket is still 10 melded decorations, and now they're worth 1,500 apiece. The special materials from the village trading and such are all now worth 30 melding points instead of 20, so they have gone up 50% in value for melding specifically. And then all of the melding point values of your existing decorations have gone up 2 to match the Wyverian melding as well, meaning that maximum rarity weapon decorations will grant you 150 melding points, and maximum rarity armor decorations will get you 90. The spot where the negatives of these changes mostly show up, however, is when crafting specific chosen decorations. The costs for these have gone up dramatically, like way more than the actual increase of the points. Like the 2-slot decorations now cost 450 points for each craft, which is way more. And while it's a bit unfortunate for players that are hitting HR 100 after this change has taken effect, I'd say if you are HR 100, you either have or are capable of getting the melding points that you need for the decorations that you want pretty immediately, at the very least. Past this, 2 main things I want to make sure that people do not miss. First up, there is a side mission that unlocks with this title update. You can get it at any time after accepting the Mizutsune story quest, even before you actually complete the quest, just by talking to Alma. She will ask you to help her find her second pair of glasses. This is a very simple quest to follow through the end, and at the end of it, you get the ability to not only change Alma's glasses, which is sort of fun, but you unlock 2 new pieces of headgear to craft for yourself at the smithy, which of course means 2 new pieces of potential layered armor that are just some nice, tasteful, classy glasses for your face. Then finally, explore the Grand Hub. There are various spots that have a chance of spawning ancient wyvern coins each time that you load in. They aren't consistent where they'll be, but they are located around the parkoury paths up to the right where you first spawn in, and as well as that, if you follow this path, jump off of this bone here to reach the edge of the cliff, follow the cliff along the side, and drop to this little hidden area behind a waterfall where you can find the Downy Chonk, as I've decided it should be named, the massive leader of all Downy Crakes, and over time he will collect goodies for you, so come visit him and pay your respects and pick up your goodies, with things like golden eggs, which just translate to a nice pile of zenny. So here's an absolutely lovely little hidden part of the Grand Hub to make sure you come visit frequently. That's all the main stuff then. There's also been some balance changes for the weapons as well, which we have generally talked about on the channel already, but for a quick update on the 2 largest changes, now that we actually know the numbers for these, and the biggest numerical shifts that they've given us, seikret riding bowgun shots have been nerfed into the ground. Like it's now 60% damage loss to fire a bowgun from the back of your seikret, as opposed to firing it when grounded, whereas before this was only a 10% damage loss. So this has gone down an insane amount, and this is to just completely stem the builds and players using heavy bowgun while mounted, and I would say they've done a good job of doing that if that was their goal, because it's just pretty much unusable now. Personally, I thought it was a fun mechanic, but I can definitely see why the developers wouldn't like it, given how it just completely changes how bowguns are balanced consensus conceptually. What's the heavy part of heavy bowgun if you can use it while riding the back of your bird, right? Then on the flip side of that, we have bow, where there were some smaller number changes in general, like some slight nerfs to Dragon Piercer, but the big number change is 1000 dragons, which seems to have gone up like 30% in damage and is actually quite intriguing now. It probably won't make like a meta damage build, but we're messing around with it in the hopes of a fun meme or variety secondary playstyle, and of course you'll see the results on the channel if they're worth sharing, of course. That pretty much does it for today then, everyone. The lesser known or less obvious parts of Title Update 1 right out of the gate. I hope you've enjoyed this, and hopefully it helps you out in your continued journey through Title Update 1, and if you find any more extra little hidden or lesser known parts of the Update 2, feel free to leave them in the comments down below so we can spread all of that information out to your fellow hunters. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.